Om Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Namaha.
Situated on the same divine spiritual axis as the renowned Chandika Devi Temple, this holy shrine manifests as an eternal divine presence within the Acharya's sacred abode, radiating in a luminous spiritual form. In the Shaktheya tradition, the rare confluence of the three supreme energies, Sree Mahakali, Sree Mahalakshmi and Sree Mahasaraswati is worshipped here in a unified essence as Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi. Residing in the sanctified space of the Acharya's abode, the goddess showers blessings upon countless devotees as the benevolent grantor of the cherished wishes. When the intense spiritual austerities of the Acharya merged with the boundless grace of the Divine Mother, this supremely sacred land was transformed into a divine sanctum of Adi Parashakti herself, manifesting as the fulfiller of devotees' heartfelt prayers.
उद्यत्कोटि दिवाकर प्रतिभडो तुंगरूपस्तनी बद्धार्देन्दु किरीटहार रशना मंजीर संशोभितम् अक्षस्रक्परशुं गदेषु कुलिशं पद्मं धनुपुस्तकं शूलं शङ्खसुदर्शने च दधतीं पाशं च खड्गं शरं कुम्भं पूर्णवराभयादिविमलं हस्तैः प्रवालप्रभाम् रक्तांबरां सिंहविशेषपीठां शक्तित्रयां पूर्णमशेषरूपां विश्वेश्वरीं सकलसच्चित्स्वरूपां ध्यायेत् सदा श्री महाशक्ति त्रयेशी। ओम श्री महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती ऐक्यरूपेण ओम श्री महाशक्ति त्रयेश्वर्यै नमः।
Here, Lord Mahadeva is absorbed in the elemental form of Agni and Jala. Seated in the Padmasana posture, Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi grants darshan with 16 sacred hands. In her hands shine the sword, trident, noose, battle axe, conch, discus, celestial weapon, bow, rosary, sacred book, and the gestures of protection and benevolence. With two hands in a deeply maternal gesture, she pours the abundance-filled sacred pot upon her devotees, expressing herself through the three aspects of Mahasaraswati, Mahalakshmi, and Mahakali. Simultaneously, she stands as Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi herself, the very form of Durga Parameshwari. For devotees who behold the Mother with profound devotion, pure hearts, and complete surrender, her universal form, radiant with divine effulgence, adorned with a nectar-like smile, and illuminated by eyes brimming with compassionate divine consciousness, becomes a blessed moment in their very birth. with a smile that enchants the entire universe like the brilliance of an autumn full moon, and with eyes that are an ocean of compassion, the Mother grants her darshan. This is the majestic universal vision of Mahashakti, overflowing with boundless maternal love. In that vision, full of a devotee's sorrow dries up. Drawing the devotee close to her heart, the Mother feeds them the nectar of her affection. Ever ready to nourish her devoted children with the milk of compassion, she stands resplendent, concealing nothing of her boundless maternal grace. In one of her ears adorns the sun, and in the other the moon. A medallion set with emeralds, proclaiming the presence of Mercury, the planet of knowledge, learning, and intellect, and the crescent moon crowning her tresses declares silently, yet unmistakably, that the Mother is indeed Ardhanarishwara herself, or rather Parvati Devi, in her complete divine essence. This complete form of supreme power, maternal, compassionate, and benevolent, is consecrated in the temple and worshipped in accordance with all sacred rituals and traditions. In the Devi's darshan, the devotee becomes motionless, forgetting even to blink, eyes filled with the tears, hands folded in reverence, forgetting all the sorrows of life and dissolving completely into the Devi's divine magnetism. The Mother's divine manifestation originated from Kollur, Mookambika. Through long years of devoted worship of the Devi Mahatmya, the Acharyan was blessed with a direct vision of the Mother. In that sacred revelation, the Mother unveiled the great mystery that Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati reside within her as a unified essence. Along with this, she revealed her Parvati aspect and her Durga Parameswari aspect, radiant with supreme power and compassion. The Mother then instructed the Acharyan to find a sanctified abode for her divine presence. She revealed that the chosen place lay on the direct sacred axis of the Chottanikara Devi Temple, in a dwelling that faces both the east and the south. She commanded that a sanctum be constructed facing east, and further directed that for the welfare of the temple and for the blessing of countless devotees to solve their problems, Vishnumaya Swami, the son of Devi and Lord Mahadeva, the embodiment of the Supreme Guru, the very form of Parabrahman, be consecrated on her left side in the most exalted form, along with all attendant divine energies. These divine instructions of the Mother became the very soul of this temple. Once this land was a tranquil forest where sages and ascetics performed deep penance. By the Mother's divine command, it transformed into a rare spiritual sanctuary, overflowing with power and cosmic energy. Though the Mother's manifestation originated from Mookambika, astrological inquiry revealed that her form and attributes here are distinct and unique. Acharyas and Gurus proposed many names for the goddess, yet none fully reflected her radiant essence. Finally, through the Acharyan, the Mother's will flowed forth in divine articulation. Thus the Mother, embodied as the supreme mantra, revealed her sacred name as Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi. Through unbroken streams of divine visions and revelatory dreams, the Mother's immutable will continues to manifest through the Acharyan even to this day. At the very foundation of the Mother's Adhara Padmasena Peedam stands an extremely ancient Shivalinga in which the elements of Agni and Jala are united, the Mahadeva Linga of the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple. As revealed through the Mother's divine command, on a Paurnami day, Siddha saint was encountered by the Acharyan on the circumambulatory path of Tiruvannamalai. According to the Siddha's words, Lord Mahadeva exists here in the form of Arunachaleshwara of Tiruvannamalai, embodying the principle of fire. The pedestal of the linga is Arunachala stone, while the linga itself is of Narmada origin. The Siddha instructed that this Shiva consciousness should first merge into the Devi, and thereafter the linga must be reverentially consecrated in the temple as the Supreme Guru maintained with the proper rituals. He further prescribed that Lord Mahadeva must receive special daily abhishekas and worship, with the full moon day being of paramount importance. Following these divine instructions, the Siddha Swami, who was performing intense penance in the forest of Tiruvannamalai, personally performed Jalabhisheka, Bhasmabhisheka, adorned the linga with a Rudraksha mala, offered arati, and then handed over the sacred Shiva linga to the Acharya. On the very same day, the Acharyan carried the linga around the Arunachala hill in circumambulation and subsequently consecrated it in the temple. Here, the primary offerings to Mahadeva, who is especially fond of Abhisheka, are tender coconut water Abhisheka, milk Abhisheka, and sacred ash Abhisheka. This divine linga merges into the Devi and manifest principle of Ardhanarishwara. Only ghee lamps are used within the sanctum. Hence, the ghee lamp, symbolizing purity and sanctity, is the most beloved offering to the mother. The mother's most favored offerings are Sree Chandika Homam, Maha Gurudi Puja, Muttirakal for the removal of obstacles, Nanayapara, offering for prosperity, Maha Saraswata Puja for students. The Maha Saraswata ghee offered here is itself a divine medicine for academic success and enhancement of memory power. Sri Vishnumaya Swami, along with all attendant retinues, resides here as a wondrous divine presence that intuitively perceives and responds to every prayer of the devotees. Alongside Sri Ganapati, the Guru Parambara presents Sri Maha Narasimha Murthy, Sri Krishna, the Paradevata, and other regional guardian deities such as Brahmarakshas and Yogishwaran. Lord Vishnumaya Swami came to this temple through the highly ancient Punjanellur Illam lineage. A revered yogic Brahmin belonging to the lineage of a Brahmin couple who had directly received the highest forms of worship practices, mantras and tantric disciplines from Punjanellur Bhattadri, arrived before the Acharyan in accordance with the Divine Mother's command. He meticulously systematized and established all the essential rituals, sacred ceremonies, karmic rites and modes of worship required for the deity, following the most righteous and authentic path. To this day, the same ritual procedures and worship methods instituted by him are strictly followed in the temple. Maha Kalasha Puja, the Maha Karinkuridi, performed on Saturdays, and rare ritual practices meant for the fulfillment of specific desires and the removal of enemy-related afflictions are still conducted here in strict adherence to the pure Brahminical tradition. The temple trust performs the grand Mahakalasha Puja on Ammavasya, while devotees may offer it on any day of their choice. Behind this temple exists the invisible protection and blessings of great Guru lineages. Through the Acharyan's complete surrender, the Divine Mother herself stands here as the Supreme Guru presence. The will and divine commands of Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi flow through the Acharyan as sacred revelations. Protection of Dharma on earth, peace and prosperity for devotees. This is the sacred mission of the Divine Mother. Even today, countless divine experiences of devotees whose lives have been transformed through the blessings of the Mother and Lord Vishnumaya Swami continue to resonate daily within this temple. Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi, the Supreme Jagadamba, where power and compassion unite as one. Formed with the noble mission of preserving and nurturing the spiritual and cultural heritage of the Shaktheya tradition, the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Trust is a divine spiritual movement. Founded under the divine grace of the Mother Goddess, the Trust today stands before the world as a sacred spiritual center, firmly rooted in the pillars of devotion, ritual purity, dharma, and disciplined spiritual practice. Along with daily worship, Maha Chandika Homam, Maha Guruti, Maha Kalasha Puja, and Maha Shaktheya Puja, the observance of auspicious occasions such as Pranamam, Amma'S, and Navaratri fills the entire temple atmosphere with the living presence of the goddess. These sacred rituals bestow peace, serenity, and spiritual awakening upon the hearts of devotees. With the aim of spreading spiritual wisdom across the world, the Trust conducts comprehensive spiritual study programs, including teachings ranging from the Srimad Devi Mahatmyam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and the Narayaniyam, through both online and offline training initiatives. Today, more than 350,000 learners from various parts of the world are part of this divine center of knowledge. Selfless service is the heart of the Trust. Through initiatives such as Annadanam, medical assistance, educational support, and elderly care, the Trust functions as a living service movement where service to the Goddess and service to humanity unite as one. The Trust operates with a non-commercial, ethical vision supported by a transparent and fully audited administrative system. Guided by the divine grace of the Mother Goddess and the wisdom of the Guru lineage, the Trust is also implementing a grand spiritual initiative, the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Township, aimed at preserving and nurturing moral and spiritual consciousness for the present and future generations. Standing as a flaming pillar of light in the Shaktheya tradition, the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Trust is a divine movement that spreads the light of devotion and selfless service across the world. The Supreme Acharyaship of Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple is adorned by the revered spiritual luminary Acharyan Sri Rishi Ambatuji. From early childhood, imbibing the foundational lessons of spirituality from his parents and the elder gurus of his ancestral lineage, and blessed by numerous guru traditions, he dedicated his entire life to the profound depths of Devi worship, emerging as a rare and luminous spiritual presence. Through deep study of Brahmanda Purana, Markandeya Purana, Srimad Devi Mahatmyam, Saundarya Lahari, and Lalitobhakhyana, the Acharyan realized the living consciousness of the Divine Mother and transformed worship and service into his very breath. By harmonizing knowledge, devotion, and righteous awareness, he has shaped a holistic spiritual path for devotees. He achieved academic excellence with a PhD in Vedic science and spiritual science, creating a rare blend of scientific and spiritual insights through his research paper on untimely death. For decades, through continuous Devi worship study camps, he has guided hundreds of thousands of disciples from mere spiritual recitation to disciplined spiritual living. Through astrology, Vastu, Tantric, and Shakta rituals, he provides guidance for alleviating devotees' sufferings and awakening their inner spiritual power. As a prelude to the Srimad Devi Mahatmyam NAMAH Prajarana Yajna Yatra, planned by the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Trust in 2027, encompassing 7,000 selected disciples across Kerala and beyond, he has already initiated a divine educational yajna dedicated to the complete teaching of the Srimad Devi Mahatmyam. just as the Sree Chandika Puja was performed continuously for 108 Fridays, beginning on April 21st, 2023. The 108-day Aganda Sri Chandika Shaktheya Maha Yagam, scheduled from February 27th to June 14, 2026, is also being conducted under his chief sacerdotal leadership. It is through his simple lifestyle, gentle demeanor, and complete spirit of surrender that devotees lovingly address him as Guruji. Through this Acharyan, Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi continues to console, guide, and bestow blessings upon her devotees. Conceived in the divine will of Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi, the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Township is a grand spiritual vision. This is not merely a cluster of temples. It's a land of truth protected by Shakti, an awakening spiritual renaissance founded on 4 pillars: devotion, knowledge, righteousness, and selfless service. Planned across approximately 150 acres in Kerala, this sacred center is not intended for material development, but for the inner awakening of humanity. At the very heart of the township stands the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple, the supreme sanctum of Goddess Durga Parameshwari, manifest as the unified divine consciousness of Sree Mahasaraswati, Sree Mahalakshmi, and Sree Mahakali. Here the worship of the goddess is performed strictly in accordance with Tantric traditions, invoking the fullness of Devi's divine consciousness. From this sacred space flow the Mother's compassion, bestowing peace and serenity upon troubled minds and granting health, longevity, prosperity, and abundance. To enable devotees to experience the goddess's eternal presence inwardly, a Devi Upasana Mandala is being established. This will serve as a sacred spiritual pilgrimage center for the deep study and recitation of revered scriptures such as the Srimad Devi Mahatmyam, Lalita Sahasranama, and Saundarya Lahari. Meditation halls built in harmony with nature, along with silent contemplation spaces inspired by the Guhasrama concept, will become sanctuaries where the soul experiences the goddess through profound inner stillness. Through the harmonious integration of the 5 elements, the mind finds silence and balance here. Spiritual academies and research centers will function to teach the Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, Tantra Shastra, astrology, and Vastu Shastra, while modern ashrams rooted in the Guru-disciple tradition will guide seekers toward purification of life and consciousness. In the Mother's vision, service is the highest form of devotion. Accordingly, a Seva Gramam will be dedicated to society through Annadanam and the care of orphans and the elderly, evolving into a divine center of compassionate service. A satsang, music and dance auditorium where art and devotion merge will inspire cultural and spiritual renewal through recitations, discourses, and sacred performances. A Nagama Shastra-based Yajna Vedi and Homa Mandapam with the daily performance of Maha Chandika Homam will sanctify the temple city continuously in the Devi's vigilant divine presence. Through the grace of the Mother, the Annadanam hall will transform nourishment itself into an act of worship accompanying divine darshan. An eco-spiritual landscape blending nature and spirituality will take form as a sacred forest filled with the divine trees and medicinal plants, embodying the truth that protecting nature is equal to worshipping the goddess. The Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Township and its way of life are envisioned as a divine land to learn Dharma, lives in Dharma, and protect Dharma, a timeless spiritual sanctuary where devotion, power, knowledge, and service flow together, enduring beyond the present age and standing as a beacon for future generations. This sacred project, humbly offered at the lotus feet of the Divine Mother, is the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Township. From 27 7th February 2026 to 14th June 2026, Kumbam 15 to Edavam 31st, 1201 Malayalam era. At Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple, a continuous 108-day Yaga Puja named Ashtottara-Shata Akhanda Sri Chandika Shaktheya Maha Yagam will be performed, a supreme divine observance that manifests the living flow of Devi Tattva upon the earth itself. As a sacred prelude to the construction of the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Township, this Maha Yagam represents the highest expression of Shaktheya Tantric wisdom. It is a mantra-infused cosmic sacrifice through which the infinite power, compassion, and grace of the goddess flow into the universe, transforming ignorance into wisdom, fear into courage, and sorrow into bliss. Fueled by the 700 immensely powerful mantras of the Srimad Devi Mahatmyam, the sacrificial fire burns uninterrupted for 108 days. Into this sacred fire, the sorrows, afflictions, karmic impurities, and ignorance of devotees are dissolved in the fire of divine knowledge. Each day begins at dawn with the chanting of the Devi's sacred names, awakening the Yajna Vedi. This is followed by special abhisheka, flower decoration, naivedya, and Panja Arati, culminating in the Sree Chandika Homam. After the Homam, Mahagurudi offering, Mahakalasha offering, recitation of Srimad Devi Mahatmyam, Lalita Sahasranama Archana, Mahagurudi Puja, along with daily Anna Prasadam and ghee offerings are conducted with deep devotion for all devotees. Throughout these 108 days, the fierce yet benevolent Chandika aspect of the goddess bestows inner purification upon devotees. The number 108 signifies the complete cosmic cycle of creation, preservation, and dissolution. It is believed that a single day's offering touches the goddess, while an offering for 108 days establishes the goddess permanently within one's life. In this Maha Yagam, where prayers themselves become fire, devotees are provided the opportunity to offer their names and intentions into the sacred fire each day. Devotees wishing to participate may offer complete 108-day Homam, 54-day Homam, or other durations such as 91, 81, 71, 11, 9, 7, 5, or even a single day Homam according to their faith and capacity. Associated offerings such as Navakshari Mandra Archana, Gurudi Pushpanjali, and related rituals can also be performed. As the name of the goddess merges with the divine fire for 108 days, obstacles in the devotee's life are reduced to ashes and blessings rise forth as radiant light. This sacred journey is the essence of the Sri Chandika Shaktheya Maha Yagam. Chandika Devi, the fierce aspect of Sri Durga, is the supreme power that annihilates all evil. She is the Adi Parashakti who bestowed power upon the Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva themselves. The divine benefits of this Maha Yagam include removal of karmic, planetary, and evil eye afflictions, family well-being, health and vitality, prosperity and wealth, childbirth blessings, mental peace and confidence, relief from diseases, removal of all obstacles. Above all, this is a Mahayajna for world peace, universal welfare, and the awakening of Devi consciousness within all beings and all living and non-living entities. Primary offerings at the Yajna Vedi include ghee, honey, jaggery, coconuts, flowers, red silk cloth, silk saris, turmeric, along with contributions for Anna Prasadam, which devotees may offer at the temple. This Ashtottara-Shata Akhanda Sri Chandika Shaktheya Maha Yagam is being conducted at the temple as part of the initial sacred actions for the temple township to be built according to the direct divine command of the Mother. For the fulfillment of this divine mission, all devotees are humbly requested in the name of the Mother to offer their mind, body, abilities and all forms of devotion. With the devotion and reverence and carrying the light, peace and protection of Mahashakti to the world, all devotees are lovingly invited in the sacred name of Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi to participate in this divinely ordained Maha Yagam.
Om Shree Mahakali Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Aikyarupena Om Shree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwaryai NAMAH.
Printed in large letters with clearly separated words and individual names, the Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Upasana Samhita is a divine scripture designed to enable error-free recitation by people of all ages without distinction. This sacred text is a rare spiritual treasure that brings together 7 great Devi compositions in one volume: Srimad Devi Mahatmya, Sri Lalita Sahasranama, Sri Saundarya Lahari, Sri Lalita Trishadi Stotram, Sree Mahalakshmi Stavam, Sree Mahalakshmi Ashtakam, Sree Mahasaraswati Ashtakam. In addition, under the guidance of the Acharyan Sri Rishi Ambatji, regular study sessions with detailed meanings and interpretations of the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas and many other sacred texts are conducted here. Those who wish to obtain this scripture and participate in this comprehensive spiritual learning yajna, which elevates devotees inwardly, are welcome to contact Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Trust. We cordially invite all devotees to become part of this great spiritual journey. Om Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari NAMAH. Sree Mahashakthi Thrayeshwari Devi Temple Trust, Shaktheya Road, Pudiyakava, Tripunithura, Ernakulam, Kerala. Our website www.shaktitrayam.com. Email trayeshwaridevitemple@gmail.com. Phone numbers 0484 4518 or mobile 98460 53100.